Sweet Signs Brothers coming to you live from Brooklyn. It's your boy Av, and I know it's been a while. A lot of things have been going on, and I had to do a lot of traveling, and I was really busy. But I'm back now, and I miss you guys. I hope the feeling is mutual. A lot of things have been going on in boxing, but I'm here in this video to do a special edition. This is volume 2 of Gennady Golovkin and the Haters. So, if any of you haven't seen the original video, I'm going to put a link in the description box. But basically, I'm addressing Gennady Golovkin, I'm addressing his haters, and we're going to talk about his position in boxing in the aftermath of the massive flop that was Canelo. That's right. Canelo versus Amir Khan was a flop. The numbers were so bad HBO didn't even want to release the numbers. Golden Boy was being ambiguous, and they said that it did just under 600,000 buys, but other sources on the net have come out and said it was about 325,000, something like that. Now, I've said this before, and I'll say it again. Canelo is a 300,000 to 400,000 buy fighter. That's all he can carry. And, fights like Canelo versus Floyd Mayweather and Canelo versus Miguel Cotto did better than that because he was paired up with a big name. I've said that. I've debated that. I've been on boxing forums. I've gone into all types of arguments with these casuals who don't understand, most of the time don't know anything about boxing, and they always want to run their mouth. But, I said it in the past, and I'll say it again. Canelo's the A side, but he's not that kind of A side. You know what I'm saying? Like, De La Hoya was running his mouth before the Khan fight, and he was saying, if the fight happens between Canelo and Triple G, the fight is going to be a 90-10 split. He was making ludicrous statements like that, outrageous statements. And I just remember looking at it and thinking, wait a second. He did 300-some-odd thousand buys against Angulo on pay-per-view. He did 350, maybe he hit 400 against Lara on pay-per-view. I mean, his numbers are consistent. He's a 300,000, 350,000 at best. If you don't pair him up with a big name, that's all he gets. And Khan is a big name, and he couldn't even break 400,000. So, it is what it is. I've been saying it for a long time. Canelo's the A side, but he's not that kind of A side. Gennady Golovkin's a boss. He's always been a boss, and he's always going to be a boss, Canelo's the A side, but like I said, it's going to be like a 70-30 split, 65-35 split in Canelo's favor, which is fair, and this fight should be at the full 160. I hope Gennady Golovkin doesn't budge even 1 pound on that catch weight. Not even 1 pound. It should be for the full 160. I don't want to hear about no catch weights. I hope they don't back down on it. Because Gennady Golovkin has options. He has big options. And Gennady Golovkin has clout. And he has power. And he has, a lot of chips to play in this game. First and foremost, the clock is ticking on Golden Boy. The clock is ticking. He is the mandatory challenger. They have signed agreements. They have 15 days to come up with an agreement for the Canelo versus Triple G fight. 15 days. As soon as those 15 days passes, this is going to a purse bid, and the purse bid's date has already been placed. I think they said it's going to be May 25th. So they have 15 days to negotiate. And what I love is, if they play games, if they try to do some A-side catchweight stuff, if they push too many buttons in this scenario, okay, and it goes to the purse bid, Gennady Golovkin is going to get a 45, it's going to be a 45-55 split in Canelo's favor, and there's no catchweight once it goes to purse bid. There's no other A-side objectives. Everything is fair, clean cut, and down the line. And to be honest with you, that's not in Golden Boy's favor. That's not something Golden Boy wants to do. Okay? Because if it goes to a purse bid, they're not going to make the kind of money that they should make. So there's more pressure on Golden Boy because what are their options if you don't negotiate, if you try to pull some catchweight shit, and you try to do all this A-side crap, Triple G and his team can just go into the purse bid. They'll just go right into the purse bid. And what's Canelo going to do? At that point, he'll only have the option of accepting the purse bid, okay, or vacating the title, both of which are unacceptable. Secondly, who the hell is Canelo going to fight if he doesn't fight Triple G? Who? There's no big names out there. He's not going to do big numbers. This Canelo Khan fight is an indication of where Canelo stands. And the Mexican fans are pissed off. And all boxing fans in general are pissed off about what's been going on. And, I didn't order the fight. I didn't even make a video about it. I made one video when the fight was announced, shitting on Khan and talking about how I felt like Khan has bad management and I felt like it was a bad move. In retrospect, it wasn't a bad move because he got paid a lot of money, but it's not good for his health to be getting knocked out like that. It is what it is. I'm not here to talk about Khan, but I'm just saying, I didn't give this fight no play, nor did I order it. I did watch it though. Lovely. Free. I didn't pay a damn penny for it. And the majority of people who saw it didn't pay for it. And I hope no one pays for shitty fights anymore. You know what I'm saying? It is what it is. So, who is Canelo going to fight if he doesn't fight Triple G? Who is out there? I don't see anybody out there. His numbers are going to degrade. They're going to lower. There's no one out there. No one. I just don't see it. Fighting Gennady Golovkin is a huge fight. Especially if they quickly sign this fight and they don't play games and they just, say, like, let's say 5 days, 3, 4, 5 days from now, Loeffler and Oscar come out and they're like, it's a done deal. We signed the fight. I'm just being theoretical here. It's a done deal, 70-30 split. It's going to be at the full 160. They pick a massive AT&T Stadium or Dallas Stadium. They do it big, man. They do it big. And they announce it, they give it a date, they do a proper 24/7, full-blown promotion, put everything behind it. This is going to do 1.5 million buys, minimum of 1 million, minimum. It's going to be a huge fight, especially if they promote it right. But if they start dicking around, playing games, waiting for it to go to, purse bid and doing all types of nonsense, it's not going to work out. Now, so Canelo's options are: 1, be reasonable in the negotiating table. 2, get screwed, go into a purse bid and get less money. 3, vacate the title, become a coward, be the laughing stock of boxing, and it is what it is. Now, I told you guys in Gennady Golovkin and the Haters, Volume 1, because this is Volume 2 right here. I told you in Volume 1, I said Gennady Golovkin has options. Gennady Golovkin's not some piece of crap that has to, accept scraps from the table like that. He has fans. He's doing big numbers on HBO, and he's selling out crowds. His tickets, they're making so much money. They're doing well. He sold out the Forum. He sold out Madison Square Garden. Tickets in the front row are going for $550, $600, $450, and then if you didn't buy the tickets right away, the aftermarket prices were outrageous, man. Outrageous. Like a mid-level seat was going for $400 when he fought David Lemieux in Madison Square Garden. If you didn't buy him when the fight first became available, that's how expensive those tickets were. So, Gennady Golovkin's doing well. He made $2 million fighting Dominic Wade, laying his ass out. You know what I'm saying? And Dominic Wade, everyone can talk all the crap they want to talk about Gennady Golovkin's opposition. You could say whatever you want to say, really. I could care less. Gennady Golovkin's getting paid. Dominic Wade was an undefeated fighter and a former, a U.S. amateur champion. And the guy, listen, if Triple G didn't exist, Dominic Wade would have been a big deal. Trust me. Stevens is a deadly fighter. We got to see him knock someone out on the Canelo Khan undercard. He's deadly. Lemieux is deadly. These guys are deadly fighters. Triple G is just on such another level that he's making them look average. Triple G is the man. And, I said it in Gennady Golovkin and the Haters Volume 1, and I'll say it again. He's the true lineal champion because Martin Murray beat, he beat Sergio Martinez in Argentina, and they robbed him. And Triple G went on to fight Martin Murray and was the only person to knock him out and the only person to ever really decisively beat him. Because Martin Murray, when he fought Triple G, in my opinion, he was an undefeated fighter. He had 2 L's on his record, but both of those were robberies. So he went ahead and beat the hell out of this guy and knocked him out. It is what it is. Macklin, all these guys Gennady Golovkin's been beating up and knocking out. These guys were people that were top middleweights. DeGille, all these guys, they were top middleweights. And Gennady Golovkin's knocking them out and destroying them because he's that good. And the middleweight division is the best division in boxing, bar none. It's always been and it always will be one of the deadliest divisions. Sergio Martinez was the king of the division, and in his prime, he was a boss, and nobody wanted it with him. He had to fight the tough fights. You know what I'm saying? It is what it is. Now Gennady Golovkin's the one. But Gennady Golovkin, and all these people hating on Triple G, and they don't understand boxing. They just hate. But the reality is that Triple G, I looked up his net worth, and his net worth is like 25 million or something like that, 24 million, and Canelo's net worth was like 27, something like that. These numbers fluctuate for some reason. Sometimes like they just go down, and then there's different sources. But my point is, they almost have the same net worth, and that's crazy. And then you look at it and it's like Triple G is being sponsored by Jordan. Triple G is in the Apple Watch commercials. Triple G is sponsored by foreign companies that we don't even know about, man. And he's on commercials in South Korea. He's doing all types of stuff. This guy's making money. He's knocking people out. Like, he is not no B-side like that. I don't know where you guys got this from. And the fact that he's the mandatory challenger, it's like he basically put the guy that you all were claiming is the A side. Triple G put this guy in a corner, man. You know what I'm saying? And let's not forget that he got paid step-aside money for this Khan and Canelo fight. He got paid step-aside money for the Canelo-Cotto fight. And he got paid step-aside money for the Cotto-DeGille fight. And he also got paid step-aside money for the Sergio Martinez-Cotto fight. So whoever's been holding the WBC championship belt has been paying this man a consistent stream of $800,000. All those 4 fights that I just described to you, in every one of those events, Gennady Golovkin was getting paid $800,000 for permission for these paper champions to continue making their paper, because that's all they were, was paper damn champions. It is what it is. He got paid for Cotto Martinez. He got paid for Cotto DeGille. He got paid for Cotto and Canelo, and he got paid for Cotto and Khan. He made money on every one of those fights. And you know why he made money for those fights? Because he's the hungry lion, the boss dog, the legend, the killer in the middleweight division, who is getting paid for not even fighting, because that's how deadly Gennady Golovkin is. You guys could hate on him all you want to hate on him. These are facts. These are facts. Look it up. Go to the WBC. See what the minimum payment for a step-aside money for your mandatory challenger is. Gennady Golovkin's been the mandatory challenger since Sergio Martinez fought Cotto. He got paid $800,000 for that affair, and he got paid $800,000 for the other 4 fights. Meanwhile, he's walking around knocking guys out, getting paid $1.5 million, $2 million, $2 million, $2 million. He's getting paid. I don't know what you guys are talking about. It is what it is. I'm just trying to tell you guys, like, this guy is not no B-side, C-side. You guys were portraying him like he's desperate. He needs Canelo. He needs this. He needs that. No, he don't need Canelo. Just wait and see. He's not accepting that catch weight. He's going to tell Canelo, listen, just vacate. Fuck out of here. Trust me. He ain't taking no catch weight. That's not going to go down. He's just going to take that belt. And you see, Canelo finds himself in a special predicament because he can't make 154. He cannot make that weight. He's talking all this crap. He's been a middleweight for a long time. And if you saw the weigh-in for Canelo and Khan, Canelo looks sick. I never seen him look that bad at a weigh-in. He looked even worse at that weigh-in than he did when he fought Floyd at that catch weight of 152. He looked awful at that weigh-in. You know what I'm saying? Like, he can't even make that weight. And at 154, there's quite a few guys that are tough for Canelo. I think he can beat most of them, but they're tough. Demetrius Andrade, the Charlo brothers, both of them, and then he could rematch Lara. Those are not easy fights for him, especially at a weight that he can't even make anymore. He can't even make 154. So he's over here fighting in between. He's either making small guys go up so he could beat the hell out of them, or he's going to try to make big guys come down so they could be drained and he could have an advantage. And that's not going to fly. Triple G is going to take that belt. He's either going to strip it or he's going to fight him. And ain't going to be no catchweight. You'll see. There's not going to be no catchweight. And even if there is a catchweight, at best it's going to be 159 or 158. But I don't see Triple G giving him the catchweight. I really don't. You know, I think Triple G is going to get the full 160. And if Canelo and Oscar were smart, they'd fight him. Because Canelo is going to be so much stronger at 160 and so much better than he is at 155. Because he's killing himself to make that weight. He's even bigger than Triple G. It's crazy that he's cutting all that weight. You saw how big he was when he fought Khan? He looked like he was a $180. And then they're trying to play games. You know, night of the fight, you know, he didn't want it. He refused to step on the scale to let HBO know how much he weighed. It's ridiculous. You know what I mean? Like, it's ridiculous. I'm telling you, these fight night weights have to be mandatory. I'm sorry. I want to know how much these guys weigh. I want to know. For the purpose of knowing where a fighter truly belongs and who is he really ducking. Where should he really be fighting if he wasn't cutting weight? Because I'm tired of this. There's too many fighters doing this. I remember Floyd, he rarely stepped on the scale. You know why? Because he didn't want people throwing middleweights' names up when he was fighting him. I was saying for a long time, when Floyd Mayweather was like, you know, dominating, I was saying for such a long time, I would love to see him fight Sergio Martinez. And every time I would mention that, everyone would gang up on me on all the boxing forums. Like it's ludicrous, like it's crazy. How dare you ask Floyd to fight him? He's so big, blah, 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 blah. No, Floyd is big. He could have fought the middleweights. He was a champion at 154. He had like 3 or 4 fights at 154. And, you know, it is what it is. I just, like, you know, I think Floyd is a big dude. I think he's a lot bigger than people think he is. But anyway, Floyd's out of the picture. No one cares about him. Just bringing him up for the fact that he didn't step on the scale night of the fight. He did sometimes, but a lot of times he didn't. And I believe he did that just so people wouldn't bring his name up in regards to these bigger dudes. Now, for Canelo, he put himself in a bad corner. It was a bad strategy. Oscar and them tried to play that A-side card and it blew up in their face. You know, it would have been smarter for them if they had told Triple G and they were honest, like, we'll fight you at 160 May 2017. We just need 2 or 3 tune-up fights because we just got to this weight class. They could have played it smart, and Gennady Golovkin and Tom Loeffler would have agreed to that shit. As long as a date was picked and there was no weight stipulation, they could have done that. But instead, they tried to play that A-side shit, and it didn't work out for them. It didn't work out for them at all. So at the end of the day, he's going to have to fight Triple G at 160. He's going to. And you know, even if they do accept the catchweight, like I said, it's going to be 159 or 158. It's not going to benefit Canelo. He's going to get his ass whooped. And, you know, he's going to be a good boy. Just like all the other good boys. And for the rest of you Gennady Golovkin haters out there, all right? Just enjoy living in Gennady Golovkin's era. You know what I'm saying? Because it's going to be Klitschko. It's going to be like the Klitschko brothers all over again. It's going to be like 5 years of this guy dominating the division, holding every belt. And I want to just top it all off with, you know, Gennady Golovkin's going to get this Canelo fight. He's going to fight Saunders. That fight is going to happen. He's going to fight Jacobs. He is going to fight Chris Eubank Jr. All those fights are going to happen. All those fights are going to happen. And as for Andre Ward and Sergey Kovalev, he's going to fight the winner of that fight too. He's probably going to fight the loser and the winner at 175. You mark my words. Because all that shit talk that Andre Ward has done all this time, believe me, it's gotten under Golovkin's skin. And I'm going to make a video talking about the whole, Andre Ward, Gennady Golovkin issue, because that's been really pissing me off. There's a lot of people running around spewing nonsense and talking all types of trash about that fight. I'm going to dedicate a whole video to that. I'm not saying Triple G is going to win or Andre Ward's going to win or this, that, and the third. I'm just saying, Andre Ward, I'm going to expose some of the nonsense pertaining to Andre Ward and Triple G, but that'll come at a later time. Because just like Canelo put himself in a corner, okay? Just like Canelo put himself in a corner and he can't get out of that corner, and now he's going to fight Triple G, you mark my words. You mark my words. Ward is going to be in that same corner. Ward is going to be in that same corner. You'll see. Because the fight with Ward didn't happen. I'm going to make a separate video about the Ward fight. But I'm just going to leave it off with that fight didn't happen because there really wasn't money in that fight. It was a big, risky fight. There was no money. And Triple G had Canelo and Saunders and unification fights and a pay-per-view with Lemieux and all this other stuff in front of him. So, of course, he's not going to go up to 168 and fight Andre Ward, who's done nothing in the sport of boxing. And the Barrera fight didn't even happen. So what I'm talking about is even pre-Barrera fight, because he looked fantastic in that fight. But I'm just saying, he was coming out of nowhere, demanding his weight, demanding 50-50, and, meanwhile, Triple G's got a pay-per-view in front of him, another pay-per-view coming up, unification fights, like, get out of here. But as for Andre Ward, he's painted himself in a corner, trust me. Trust me. After Kovalev destroys him, or he beats Kovalev, but I favor Kovalev to win. But it doesn't matter. That fight is Gennady Golovkin and Andre Ward. That fight is not dead. And I've seen recent articles with Andre Ward saying, "Oh, the Gennady Golovkin fight's never going to happen." Why don't you keep your goddamn mouth shut? Focus on Kovalev. Let Gennady Golovkin unify his division. If you beat Kovalev, then you could go get Stevenson and completely unify your division. I guarantee you that pay-per-view is coming. You think Triple G won't fight you at 175? It will happen. There just wasn't money behind your name before. Anyway, it is what it is. Even if the, Ward fight never happens, I could care less. Ward is not even in his division. But I'm going to make a video about the Ward situation because I'm really getting sick of it. Anyway, this is your boy Al from the Sweet Science Brothers. Let me know what you think. And, just want to let you guys know I miss you. And, like, comment, and subscribe. Share the videos. Share the love. Peace.